Our main focus here at the Gridiron Expert will always be college football. But we cannot just ignore the NFL playoffs, which begin this Saturday, where 14 teams will be battling it out over the next month for their shot to play in the Super Bowl. And over the next month, guys, we will be predicting every single NFL playoff game each week, starting right now with Super Wildcard Weekend. All 6 games coming your way this upcoming weekend, Saturday through Monday. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Ready to break down the first slate of NFL playoff games. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, where you can receive the spread picks for all these playoff games. We are offering you the spread picks for every single NFL playoff game for one of the lowest prices in the country, guys. We're hitting over 55% of our NFL bets this season, over 60% in our best bets section. So if you want to get some big winnings in the postseason, go take advantage of the link down in the description below. Go sign up for those expert picks before the prices change and become a member of our GE Nation. So let's jump into this, guys. We got 6 games to break down. It's got a lot to cover for the Super Wildcard Weekend, especially since the playoffs, of course, have expanded in recent years. We'll start with the first game on Saturday. The 5-seed Cleveland Browns taking on the 4-seed AFC South champions and the Houston Texans. This is like the feel-good NFL playoff story of the week, right? I mean, 2 phenomenal stories. You've got a Browns team that has dealt with so much adversity, so many challenges, so many injuries this season, yet finds themselves with an 11-win season behind Joe Flacco, who is 4-1 with the Browns since he took over in late November, early December. He's playing some really good ball, guys. Over 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, completing over 60% of his passes. So the Browns, obviously a perennial, dare I say, loser of a team for most of their history, finds themselves in a really good spot and make a playoff run, taking on a Texans team who wasn't supposed to be much of anything this year. A Texans team that had the number 2 pick in last year's draft, but with a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud, who has a very strong case to be Rookie of the Year with over 4,100 yards and 23 touchdowns, a first-year head coach in DeMeco Ryans, won the AFC South and is hosting a playoff game. So the Texans way ahead of schedule. This is going to be a very, very, very fun game and a great way to kick off the playoffs. But ultimately, guys, we've got to go with the Browns in this game. The difference maker in this game for me is the Browns defense. They are the number 1 defense in the league. You wouldn't think that, but they are. The Browns are just giving up 270 yards per game. They're second in the league against the pass, giving up just 185 passing yards per game. And that pass rush, extremely dangerous, led by Myles Garrett, who has 14 sacks on the year. The Browns have 49 sacks. The Texans' offensive line, a little shaky. They've given up 47. Cleveland actually beat the Texans 36-22 back on Christmas Eve. C.J. Stroud was injured for that game, though. I do think the game's a little bit closer. Probably is decided by 1 possession. Cleveland, though, gets the win, and they advance to the divisional round. But the future are looking very, very bright in Houston. We can stick in the AFC. Number 6, the 6th seed, the Dolphins, who had their shot at being the 2 seed but lost to Buffalo in the season finale. They have to now travel to Kansas City, a cold Kansas City, to face the reigning champions, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who have not looked like the reigning champions. The Chiefs have struggled this year, and struggling for some is still getting the 3 seed and winning the AFC West. You look at what happened earlier in the year, though. The Dolphins and the Chiefs squared off in Germany. It was a very exciting game, 2 legitimate AFC title contenders, and the Chiefs were putting a beat down on them. They were winning 21-0. But by the end of the game, the Chiefs only won 21-14, and the Dolphins actually outgained the Chiefs, beat the Chiefs in every statistical category. The difference maker was the fumble recovery for a touchdown that the Chiefs got right at the end of the first half. If that doesn't happen, who knows what happens over in Germany? Maybe the Dolphins win this game. Maybe the seeds are different. Maybe the Chiefs are going to Miami. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is a fun game, right? You got the Tyreek Hill reunion. Tyreek Hill having a phenomenal year, nearly 1,800 reception yards, 13 touchdowns, playing for Miami now, traveling back to Kansas City. But here's the thing. This is where home field advantage plays a very, very, very big role. Chiefs have obviously not been great at home this year as they've been in years past. The Chiefs are just 4-4 at home this year, losing to the Lions, Eagles, Bills, and Raiders. But the Dolphins, they're no good on the road. The Dolphins are 4-4 on the road. Their only wins on the road coming against the Chargers in Week 1, the Patriots in Week 2, the Jets, and the Commanders. 4 non-playoff teams, 4 very, very, very bad teams. Their 4 road losses were the Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs in Germany, and the Ravens. 3 of those coming by double digits. The only one that wasn't was the Chiefs in Germany. So the 3 true road games that they lost were by double digits. The Eagles, Bills, and Ravens all, again, by at least 2 touchdowns. It's a ridiculous mark. Mike McDaniels, I love him. He's a great coach. I love his swagger. I love his style. He said, I wish it were colder. He's going to get his wish. It's going to be freezing in KC, and I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid with loads of playoff experience at home in a playoff game. Give me KC to win this game and advance to the divisional round, where they more than likely will take on the Bills in Buffalo. This has an opportunity, guys, to be the most lopsided playoff game of Super Wildcard Weekend, right? I mean, the Steelers, give credit to Mike Tomlin, guys. He is such an underrated coach. Never had a losing season with Pittsburgh. Found a way with an atrocious offense to get his Steelers into the playoffs. I mean, he deserves a lot of credit. And for what it's worth, I don't really have a lot of faith in Buffalo. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bills. They are wildly inconsistent. Josh Allen is a turnover machine, but the Steelers simply do not have the offense to keep up in this game. Allen may commit a turnover or 2, but the Steelers, I don't think, have the offense to convert off of those turnovers. So, Steelers going to Buffalo, I don't think they stand much of a chance here. Mason Rudolph playing in Buffalo, not going to stand much of a chance here. Only 719 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is a Bills team, guys, that's getting hot at the right time. They've won their last 5 games. They won at Miami. They won at Kansas City. They're finding ways to win games. They're not winning them pretty, but they're finding ways to win. I think the Bills snag this win here, more than likely set up that showdown against the Chiefs. Can they get revenge against the Chiefs in the divisional round? It'll be the first time they met in that round since the 13-second game just a few years ago. But the Bills win the Steelers, and they win that game by double digits. Going over to the NFC, Packers and Cowboys, the Mike McCarthy Bowl. So, I mean, you've got the feel-good story up here with the Browns and Texans. You've got the Tyreek Hill reunion game here. You've got the Mike McCarthy Bowl here. And you got the Matthew Stafford Bowl here. We'll get to that in a second. But the Mike McCarthy Bowl, Packers at Cowboys. First off, tons of credit to the Packers, the youngest team in NFL history, at least from the cumulative age, the average age, to make the NFL playoffs. That's a major, major milestone. And to do so with a first-year quarterback in Jordan Love, the first year without Aaron Rodgers in years, is a remarkable accomplishment. Jordan Love having a phenomenal season for him as well, over 4,100 yards and 32 touchdowns. But this is the best chance the Cowboys have had to make the NFC Championship and maybe make the Super Bowl in a very, very long time. The Cowboys are 8-0 at home and will not have to play on the road until the NFC Championship game. And that's only if the 49ers find themselves in that way. The 49ers lose in the divisional round and the Cowboys keep winning, the Cowboys will get to host and smooth sailing to the Super Bowl. This is the best team they've had in a while and the best chance they've had in a while. And I do believe that they will beat the Packers, even though the Cowboys are notorious for choking in the playoffs. They're notorious in choking in the playoffs against the Packers, losing in the did the Dez catch it game back in 2014, lost a few years later with Dak at home in Dallas in heartbreaking fashion, that toe tap catch along the sideline for Green Bay. We've seen it happen. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys lost this game. But I do think they find a way to win. The Cowboys are undefeated at home this season. Dak Prescott, a phenomenal season for him, over 4,500 yards and 36 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, over 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's going to be too much for this Packers secondary to handle. Not to mention the Cowboys do boast a top 5 defense. They will find a way to win this game, and Dallas will be in the divisional round, 1 win away from the NFC Championship, and they might get themselves a rematch against the Lions. Just a few weeks ago, we saw that controversial finish in Dallas. The Lions getting screwed over on their potential game-winning 2-point conversion play. If the Lions can beat the Rams, they will more than likely head back to Dallas looking for a chance at redemption. And I believe the Lions do beat the Rams in the Matthew Stafford Bowl. This is an awesome game. This is my favorite NFL playoff game on the slate. This entire weekend, the Lions and Rams, it's my favorite. Detroit getting to host a playoff game for the first time in 30 years, looking for their first playoff win since 1991. You've got Matthew Stafford at the Rams going back to Detroit to take on his former team. You've got Jared Goff for the Lions hosting his former team. This is unbelievable. This is what the playoffs are all about. I mean, the NFL script writers, they couldn't have written it any better. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be fun. It's going to be historic. This is going to be great. But Dan Campbell, man, he is a dog. He is an absolute dog. He probably is right now my favorite coach in the NFL right now. I love his style. I love his energy, his enthusiasm, his passion. He's going to have this Detroit team ready to go. The Lions are a top 5 offense in all offensive categories, averaging over 271 passing yards per game, over 136 rushing yards per game with the duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, which was a phenomenal draft pick by Detroit. The defense is second in the league against the run, so I don't really think the Rams' Kyren Williams, who kind of burst onto the scene this year, I don't think he gets much going, meaning Matthew Stafford is going to have to win this game solely by himself. Can he do it? No doubt about it. We've seen him do it before. He was a one-man show in Detroit with the exception of Calvin Johnson and gave Detroit some pretty solid season. But ultimately, Stafford falls short late in the fourth quarter. Detroit's defense gets a big win, and the Lions clinch a playoff win for the first time since 1991. They will head to the divisional round and could set up that massive showdown against the Cowboys. And then finally, guys, the Monday night game. The 5 seed, the Eagles, who just a few weeks ago were 10-1, looking to wrap up the 1 seed, slipped all the way to the 5 seed, didn't even win the NFC East. They travel to the Bucs, who were able to win the NFC South. So, no Brady? No problem. Baker Mayfield can handle it just fine. They are hosting the Eagles, guys. The Philadelphia, it just kind of fell off. I don't know exactly what happened to them, but they went 1-5 down the stretch, including blowout losses to the 49ers and the Cowboys, and really bad losses to the Cardinals and the Giants. That Cardinals loss is ultimately what cost them their shot to win the NFC East, maybe have the number 2 seed or the number 3 seed in the playoffs. So a big loss for the Eagles here. But ultimately, guys, this is a Philadelphia team that last year was the runner-up, right? They were still the national runner-up, the Super Bowl runner-up. They've got an experienced quarterback in Jalen Hurts. If his weapons are healthy, if A.J. Brown's healthy, if Devontae Smith are healthy, the Eagles are very banged up right now. But if they are healthy, they will find a way to beat Tampa Bay on the road. I love Tampa. I love what Baker Mayfield has done. I think they're really one of the more feel-good stories in the league this year. I don't think anybody expected them to be as good as they were, a winning record, division champs, hosting a playoff game. But ultimately, if they are healthy, Hurts should feast in this game against a Bucs secondary that's 30th in the league out of 32 teams, giving up over 268 passing yards per game. I think it's close. I think the Bucs pull out all the stops, but the Eagles are simply too good. They snap their skid. They find a way to win this game, and they will have to play a road playoff game. Very well could be against the 49ers possibly, depending on how the rest of these games shape up in the divisional round. But the Eagles snagged the win narrowly over Tampa Bay. But the future looking very bright in Tampa, just like it is for the Texans in Houston and the Packers in Green Bay. So there you go, guys. Riding with the Browns, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Eagles. Will it be perfect? Who knows? That's what Super Wildcard Weekend is all about. But those are our picks here at the Gridiron Expert to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Next week, we'll have individual videos for each of the divisional round games. And, of course, we're going to be predicting every game from here on out all the way to the Super Bowl. So stay tuned for that. You do not want to miss it. We're going to have you covered, of course, every step of the way. So once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and, of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks. If you want the spread picks for all of these wildcard games and every NFL playoff game over these next couple weeks, go check it out. Sign up for those today. You do not want to miss out, especially before those prices change. So go take advantage to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.